definitely silicon up these holes before I do the next one outside, so it acts continuously falling in the hole.
So it doesn't make an air pocket.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
Righto, let's burn some stuff. Right, YouTube, we have a bunch of burnt copper cable come out of car fires and stuff like that. We collect up when we're in the bush, cleaning up the bush. And we're going to stick some of this in the crucible for this, light it up, and pour some bars live tonight. So I'm just going to cut the real cable-y kind of stuff off the corners. We don't want the smoke in the shed. It's going to take a little while to get the first melt done because we've got to get the furnace heated up. And you want to do that slowly. We might even light that now while it's open. There we go. There's our crucible we're going to use tonight. Got some pieces of copper in there now. Stuff some more copper in there. It'll take a while for it to get hot enough to melt down in there. We've got plenty of capacity in the furnace for temperature generation. We're actually running off a 45 kilo LPG tank now. We've got sick of the little ones freezing up. Instead of clay furnace, the clay crucible's got a bit of damage on it already. We've done a bit of melting so far, but let's put it in there and start warming it up. Some other random bits here. We had a bit of an overflow the other night that went pop and bang. We got some like messy pieces. And the pop went and ejected a bunch of these little copper BBs everywhere. We've got the chat on, so if you want to say good day, go for it. And we'll have a chat there. I'll just have to come back to it every now and again because I'll be doing stuff as we heat this up. We're also going to cut up some more of this small copper tube here, like this. And continuously feed that in there as we get it hot, and you'll see a nice beautiful green flame start coming out of the top of this. So I'll start cutting some of that up while we've got that going, and wait for that to liquidise and drop into the bottom. We'll throw a bunch more in there, and once we've got it hot we'll continue to pour bars until we run out of copper. Currently putting blades in the chipper. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Oh, that's awesome, Tyler. Sweet. I can't believe how well the chipper's working for you. The phone keeps up. Right, so when we're processing copper tube, I like to use these self-adjusting Milwaukee copper cutters. We've literally only just got the valve cracked on the tank at the moment, so it's just to heat it up nice and slow so you don't crack all the refractory cement in there. Gloves, we will need them. It may be necessary. So I get the copper tube for myself and buy it off local plumbers as well. This works well. And we want to get the pieces about a little bit smaller than that, just so they drop straight in the crucible and can melt down instantly. Bring this down a bit closer. Camera a little bit less affected by the high bay lights. If you don't know, high bays are horrible to film with. They flicker and give off a crappy green colour. With older copper, sometimes they'll only be able to score it and you've got to snap it. They won't go all the way through. With stuff that's a bit newer and fresher, they'll cut through nicely. A lot quicker than by hand with the cutters. Problem with copper tube is it is tube, so therefore it is light walled and hollow, so transporting it's a pain. Pouring it into bricks is a good option. Started selling these bricks on eBay and Gumtree and stuff like that. There seems to be plenty of interest in them so far. As soon as I can afford an induction furnace, we'll go down that route and we won't do propane anymore, but I've got a 45 kilo gas cylinder I was probably never going to use for anything else. So we'll get some bars melted. And use those first ones to pay for the new setup. Alright, let's wind the flame up a little bit. How much was the cutter? Yeah, do you remember how much these are? 230, 260. 160 maybe for the copper tube cutters. They're on the M12 Milwaukee platform, so I'm going to take the little M12 batteries. Milwaukee got heaps of like plumber specific tools now. And we can go and wind the gas up a little bit now. We've got some heat in there. A little bit more raw in there. I don't remember, to be honest. I bought these so long ago, it was crazy. I think I've had these 6 or 7 years. Put a new cutter in them and they seem to keep going. I've had them underwater in them. Well, you get water in them all the time. I don't use them so much for this 1/2 inch pipe. I use them a lot more for 1 inch pipe. If you know anyone who'd be interested in this video stream and you feel like sharing it with someone, that'd be awesome, because I'd like to do a lot more streaming. Because I can actually interact and chat with people while I'm doing stuff or filming stuff. Like we might even set up a camera mount for the excavator at some stage. So while we're doing digging jobs and stuff like that, we can stream. I've had some successful streams on TikTok over the time. I haven't got a great deal of followers there though. I've only got about 3,500. When you get a stream going, you'll get 25, 30 people in a stream. Here I've got just under 9,000 subscribers and we've got 4 people. But a lot of people will watch this after the fact. And it's more interesting to talk to people. When they've got questions. So these are pretty good, they go for a while on a battery. You see a bit of a green colour coming out of the top of the furnace on the camera now. Which is pretty cool. We've got a few different ingot moulds there now. Collected a few. It's pretty cool. If you're not Tyler in the chat, say g'day. I know who Tyler is and where he comes from. We chat quite a bit. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach me on Facebook or Instagram, DM me. Or just comment in the video and I'll give you my email address. Hello Travis. Hope you're not watching me on your new dishwasher. Go for it. Dishwasher. Dishwasher. Yeah. 86-inch TV. Dishwasher. Smooth move. He's probably sitting outside having a smoke watching me. Nah, he's on his phone. He's sitting outside having a smoke on his phone watching me. Big shadow. Yeah, you catch fire if you get closer. You just get comments just pop up like that. Yeah, he was. See, he was outside having a smoke. We're on to you. Got to make some more bars. The third person that bought some wants a handful more. He wants 15 more. So, got to get melting. And tonight this will be quicker than doing it with the electric one, so I thought we'd stream it. So long as the internet holds up, we'll be good. Let's keep popping pieces out and chopping them up. It's condensed a little bit in the crucible. Some of the wire on the top's fallen down and in, which is what we want. It is nice and warm. We've got a 45 kilo bottle next to it. So it's the little 2 and 9 kilo bottles freeze solid. So no doubt it kicks out some heat. We're in a big shed though as well, I guess. Just keep cutting up pieces. I've got 6 people here now. It takes a little bit of time for them to roll into the stream, but they get the notifications. 6. Takes a while. No. Yeah, this definitely isn't going to be the funnest job in summer. That being said, I'll probably be sick of melting bars by summer. Yeah, Chris can do it. We've got a pretty good, nice little flame coming out the top at the moment. Keep getting never in notifications. If I had the phones on silent, you guys would be deaf from the notifications. Does anyone want anything from Max Peating Rods? I'm not supposed to share a discount code on YouTube. It's meant to be for Instagram and Facebook. But if you use the discount code, which is saved in honey, OUTSC, one up the sleeve customs acronym, you'll get 17% off on Max Peating Rods and support the channel. So then we can buy more stuff. When we buy more stuff, I make more videos about more stuff. And around the world goes. The things I do in the videos cost me a fortune. So it's not like I'm trying to recover my money and such. It just means I'll be able to put a bit more effort into videoing and streaming and stuff like that. Still glowing in there. So as I say, with the copper tube, obviously it's thin. It's 0.91mm wool for grade A, class A copper tube. It's not thick. Adds up over time. I am talking with sellers on Alibaba at the moment in relation to buying a alligator guillotine. Wrong African animal. Because we will need one at some stage. How much will you get from that? I don't have the scales here, they're at the other place. But once I get the crucible full, we'll be able to pour a bunch of them. The fellow that wants these bars, he wants a bunch of the smaller ones, but I'm going to pour a heap of them in between size ones in the moulds. I'll look at the moulds in a minute before we get ready to pour. Probably give this a rev in a minute and start dropping some of this in to really get into it. You jump on YouTube. Come up. Come straight to that there. Yeah, unfortunately ads is part of YouTube. If you consume more than 15 hours worth of YouTube a week, just get YouTube Premium. You get YouTube Premium, you get YouTube Music. It's a good thing. I've had YouTube Premium for like 3 or 4 years now and I don't regret it. I don't have Spotify anymore. I just use YouTube Music. And that makes me happy. Like I say, if you know anyone that would be interested in watching something like this, flick it to them, because it may take a little while, but keep me in the back of your browser for a few minutes, and once it's cooked, we'll get a lovely pour out of it, and that'll be fun. Give it a bit of a rev. How hot is that? We're going for 1200 degrees. Is about where we want liquid copper. Making some room in there now. So these are the moulds that we pour it into. This is just a piece of graphite that's been milled out into a set size. These ones are about 600-ish grams in copper. Then get some of these ones, which are about 300 something grams in copper. That's what we're going to pour for one of our customers. He wants a bunch of them. And two of the 600-ish gram ones. Got this cast iron one, which is not as easy to use as I thought it would be. I've had acetylene here, being able to put the acetylene carbon in there. Apparently makes it not stick real much in there. This one you got to belt them out. So I may need to get in there with the grinder and polish the inside of this one up to make it smooth. But because it's cast iron, you can flip it over on the concrete, bash your ring got out. This is currently our biggest mould, and it pours about a kilo bar in copper. Pretty consistently around a kilo. Quite a thick piece of graphite. When there's a kilo bar in there, it's actually hard to pick up and tip over. So, develop tools and things to make that easier in the future. There's some cooling water in the pot over there. That'll boil like crazy when we tip them out in it. After we had a bit of a hot bank explosion, we still managed to get this bar out of the hot bank explosion last night. So yeah, that one still came out alright. Phone's about to die, I'll come back in about an hour. No worries mate, we might still be here. If not, you know how to reach me. Thanks for watching. Yeah. So we'll still be able to clean this one up and get something reasonable out of it. Got a big belt sander. I don't know if I made a video of that yet or not. Yeah, we'll be able to sand that up and make a nice bar out of it still. And that'll go on eBay and Gumtree. People love these hand poured bars because they look cool, they've got character, they've got layers. tempted to melt that one back down again and make something else out of it again. But I don't think it's worth the waste of propane. I'll just machine it up to a size. It'll be about 750 grams, I reckon. Chip all the bits of dross and stuff off it, it'll be fine. Still come out as a good enough bar. At the end of the day, it's a copper bar. If someone's buying it as an investment and they want to hold on for 20 years, they'll still get their money out of it in 20 years' time. So this is what the triangle-shaped cast iron mould does. This is the kind of bar you get out of that. I haven't got some great ones out of it yet. I think I really need to get that mould a lot hotter before I pour it in there. You start to get these gappy bits, and you always get a slump in the centre. But still a beautiful bar, still a nice piece of copper, same thing. You're stacking it up for the future, it's still worth stacking. These ones have been popular on eBay so far. I normally give them a bit of a dress around the top edge and the sides, and when we do that we get quite a nice looking bar out of it. And they're about 300 grams. I'll put all the weights in the eBay descriptions. The going rate for ingots is anywhere between $50 and $65 at the moment. Market's the market. If someone wants them, they'll buy them. If they don't, you're more than welcome to drop an offer on a bar. Might just tickle your fancy. You might just want a bar. Whatever. It is what it is. It's a lot nicer in this form than it is where it starts. Like, you're going to stack copper up for a future investment that looks like this. Or like this. A lot easier to stick these in the cupboard, in the shed, make a pile, buy a few when you've got a bit of spare money, stack them up. Copper price is going to continue to rise as the world transitions away from combustion, like this thing, like cars, diesels, everything. We are going to transition away from combustion. It is inevitable. It'd be good for everybody pretty well. You'll be able to drive cars just for fun when you're ready to drive your car for fun. But commuter vehicles do not need to be petrol. They can definitely be electric. Here's one of the first brass bars I've poured. Brass is a little bit hard to not get a real separation from the zinc. Depends what kind of brass it is as well. That's also about 280 grams there. And it's just been touched up a little bit with the belt sander, nothing else. Just around the edges and stuff. I will play around with making a way to tidy these up easy. My mate said he's got a router that'll go in a frame that should be able to machine it. And what we'll do is we'll set up a size and have a crack at that. I need to put some more copper in this thing. I'll do that now. you got a question, fire them away. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. A couple more bars I want to show you in a sec. We definitely need to feed this first though. Doesn't need to be set to kill while you're trying to put copper in it. Remember, it's in an insulated box, you're not losing that much heat by turning it down for a minute just to make it safe to work with. So this is literally just like car cable. It's been burnt. Definitely not the way to strip it. That's why we bought the hammer mill, so we can do it in a much nicer, safer fashion and not disgusting for the environment. This has got a bit of dirty crap on it still, so we will get a little bit of smoke. You also get pretty flames though. This copper wire is good. Where'd you get your raw material from? We recycle it from e-waste and cars and plumbers and electricians. We've got a couple of electricians that are really, really good to us, and they just let us take their scrap. We get cable and all kinds of stuff from them all the time. Nice guys. Really recommend hitting up your local electricians. You may be doing them a service that's worth more to them than the actual product. A lot of you will not know I was really quiet on YouTube for about 2 months as I was trying to line up the purchase of a scrapyard. This kind of stuff we would not be doing if I owned a scrapyard. You would not have time, you'd spend all your time managing metals you don't want. So we've gone this way. That has allowed us to do some serious recycling of high value product and value adding to it. So I've got a fellow that works with me and he helps a lot with the value adding and the disassembly. That's mainly his job. I try and line up the customers and clients. So at the moment it's part-time employing 2 people. It's myself and my fellow that will introduce to you later on YouTube, and yeah, it's really really helping us get a head start because we're not doing it full time with very little overheads. So we've already got the property and stuff. When you've got cable like this, it's best to really scrunch it up as much as you can. Lets the heat transfer through it really quick. The quicker you get the heat transfer through it, the quicker it'll melt. It's just literally disappearing as we drop it in there. So got a nice box of it here. We'll just keep peeling it and dropping it in. If you've got some questions, fire them away. How did you start this? I started this just because I've got a love of metal, basically. I previously worked in a scrap metal yard, and so there's a fellow that's working with me. He has previous scrap metal yard experience as well. We both have a love for precious and semi-precious metals, so your golds, coppers, brasses, etc. And that's why we're getting into the e-waste, because we're chasing gold. We have a few customers in the local area now that are going to provide us with a pile of e-waste quite often, and that will certainly keep us more than busy. processing wise. That's why I bought the hammer mill. Hammer mill was for the same reason. Comments, just having a look. Yeah, so it started from something pretty simple. Basically, the want to collect precious metal. We're kind of hedging our bet on the price of it going to the moon in the next few years, which is allowing us to go and get in and buy it from customers that you may not traditionally be able to buy from. People talking. Oh. Plan on lubes until a larger setup. Doing larger pours and quantities. We plan on going to induction. So we're actually using an induction furnace. As soon as we've got an induction furnace, we'll save ourselves a lot of money in fuel and stuff like that, because we can actually use renewable power in Tasmania. So the aim is to actually go quite eco. Obviously I'm burning propane right now, and I understand the kind of backwardsness in saying that we want to go eco while I'm burning propane. This is really continuing the proof of concept that we can produce a pile of bars, have them in stock, hold them, hedge them, sell them on eBay for other people to do the same. I will be doing deals for subscribers of mine. If you contact me on eBay and you find one of my bars, I will be doing deals to sell them to subscribers cheaper. Help you guys get a hedge on future inflation of copper prices. Now, a lot of people will say you need to collect gold and silver. Gold and silver are good. Copper is also a commodity, so copper will allow you to, you're going to need a bit more of it, weight-wise, but if the value goes up, the value of gold shouldn't double in like a 20-year period. It could, but like the value of gold doubling in 20 years is less likely than the value of copper doubling, tripling, quadrupling in the same time period. So I like a lot with cryptocurrencies and how people have had just chaotic growth with their crypto. If you start at 3 cents and it goes to $4, that was better than going from $10 to $15,000. But you've got so much more of it. If you go and collect yourself up half a ton of copper, it might be worth $5,000 now. But if it goes from $10.50 a kilo to $30 a kilo in 10 years, like you're sitting pretty, you didn't have to do anything. You don't get taxed on it until you spend it. Something you can hang on to without getting taxed. You're not losing money on interest. Your dollars in the bank nowhere near as good for you as a lot of people think. Inflation's killing that. If we go to war, the price of copper goes up. If we go green in the environment and start putting electric cars on the road 10 times faster because all the competitors to Tesla come, you win. If we go solar powered, you win. If everyone gets a home battery, you win. It's pretty common sense thing. Another question. I'm rambling, sorry. But it's a smart hedge, definitely. Where's the chat gone? You can put copper shreds into bricks for people to put in their fires and get a mad blue flame effect. Yeah, the swarf is really good for that. And silver swarf will make a bright red flame. Where'd you get your current setup? I got it all off eBay, basically. Everything I've bought so far has come off the internet. I plan on upgrading and improving constantly. I've got to spend a couple of grand to get the induction furnace that I want. But we'll save that in propane in a short amount of time. It's very liquidy in the bottom of there. I can't wait to take this one out. Not too much crap floating in there either. That's the hard part. Not getting crap in there is the hard part. So you can take that burnt copper wire to the scrapyard. Best case, as a vendor, I can get about $7.50 for it. But you get taxed on that. It's got to go through a business. Like that's best case. Lower grade. Pour this into some bricks. You've got a guy that already wants them. You can make yourself some significant money. Do a bit of research. Have a look on the internet. People selling bullion everywhere. A lot of people in lockdown that have found a new hobby in Australia, and that's pouring bars. If you watch Airways for Ben in Melbourne, he's been doing it for like 4 years. Every time he goes to melt, he's got a little propane furnace like this. Every time he does a melt, he sticks them on eBay and sells them. And knowing that he's a prepper, he has probably got tons of the stuff stacked up. Man, that flame's cool. You gotta be careful with the copper tube when you drop it in there. You can get a bit of a vicious pop out of there. The molds go on the furnace there just to warm them up a bit. Those ones are getting old. I poured a heat with my electric furnace into those, so I'm just been mindful of how old they are basically. I've really only got this just ticking over. Any extra, and you're kind of blowing the heat out the top. You got any tips for starting out? Yes. First of all, find some supply. Go and make yourself useful. Go and see friends, family. Give them a hand to clean up. Find some stuff with copper in it. By finding stuff with copper in it, it'll give you a chance to start making money. As soon as you start making money, you can start to invest in some tools to help make your job easier. There's a bloke called Thub. His name is Drake and he's from Canada. He has an awesome YouTube channel and he street scraps pretty much every day. Just grading bins, job site bins, businesses. He'll go and say good day. He'll clean up estate sales, that kind of stuff. But he'll tell you what's profitable and what's not. But only you can determine what your time's worth. People will tell you something's worth it, something's not worth it. If you want to hold on to a copper bar for the next 30 years and cash it in 30 years' time, who knows what it's worth? So if it's worth it to you, it's worth it, you know, that's fine. Don't let anyone else tell you that's, you know, something that might be worth $3 now could be worth $100 by the time you go to sell it. So never worry too much about people that aren't doing it telling you how to do it. If I did that, I'd still be a full-time employee. A company I didn't like working at. Rather than being able to do this kind of crap. Driving an excavator every day. Yeah, you really want to start collecting, learn how to refine. You always get the best money for your scrap if you can sort it properly, identify what you've got. You identify what you've got and you have quantity, you have bargaining power with your scrap yards. Bargaining power with your scrap yards will allow you to walk in there or ring up and say, I've got 100 kilos of copper. So you then know that you're not going to rock up with 2 old copper pans, 2 pieces of plumbing pipe and some cable that's got insulation on it still. They know that you're serious, they know that you've refined it. As you would have, if you haven't seen it, go and have a look at our little scrapping video from the other day. We took a mere 200 and something kilos in and got nearly $2,000 out of it. So it's a very high average price for your scrap metal. Because we walked in there with it sorted to the T, absolutely neat, it was happy days. John! Hey John! I've been meaning to come and see you, John. We need to talk about e-waste. It's funny that the people that live so close to me are on my live stream. But yeah, we're in the shed melting stuff. Just about ready to pour this, I reckon. We've got a decent pile going on. So anyone that knows the electronics and that kind of thing really knows the value of a good conductor. Copper's a good conductor. Copper has corrosion property issues. As you can see, it corrodes. The reason gold is valued as a good really good conductor, best conductor basically, gold and silver, is their ability to not corrode. Gold will stay gold, buried in the ground for a billion years. You dig it up and it looks shiny, it looks beautiful, it's still a good conductor. Silver, very similar. Silver will do what they call tarnish. That's just like an oxidization layer. Oxidization's the killer of everything. That's what rust is. Another nice bundle. And unfortunately, the thing that we see a heap of is people throwing e-waste in the bin. I've got a school that supplies me. I'm not going to say who. They're not super local to me. I've got to go and pick up their stuff. They supply me with all their IT gear, their old stuff. They gave me boxes of these wireless access points. I mean boxes, like 6 or 8 boxes. They were all nice aluminium. My helper went through and he pulled them all apart for me down to clean aluminium, and like they're ready to go and cash in as clean aluminium. The boards in them are all gold. He put them all in a pile, and we're going to put them all through the hammer mill until we end up with a slurry that comes out the end of it and goes on the shaker table. I've been meaning to make more content about the shaker table. I stuffed up the motor swap and ended up with a motor that's too fast and it's no good. I need a 1400 RPM motor with a similar size pulley, and it will be golden. It needs to be about 1.5 horsepower, and I think I'll just get one off somewhere like eBay. I could probably buy one locally, but it doesn't have to be the most amazing thing in the world. Gold will be lost your comment, John. Where are you? Poor John's my go-to when I've got an electronic question. Gold will be molecular bond when jointed to for a near perfect electrical connection. It's amazing stuff. Not only is it beautiful, yeah, it is. This is what powers all your technology. Your CPUs, your RAM, all those things, are all full of gold bond wires. They're just made for the telecommunication industry is all ran on it. The internet connection you're running off now will have gold somewhere in the pipeline. All of the towers and stuff, they all got gold in their telecom stuff. It's a beautiful product. It's worth a fortune, and it can only go up in value, I reckon, as well. And it's hyperinflation proof, because it will only go up with the hyperinflation, so you're guaranteed to get your money back out. A lot of people said to me, what are you going to do with the gold when you actually get it out of your e-waste? And they all look shocked at me when I tell them that's the least of my worries. Selling gold's not going to be the hard part. But this beautiful stuff I am selling already. You can sell it for very little to a local reseller scrapyard, or you can sell it for a bit more to a major industry recycling yard. Like, I use Sims Metal, sometimes Recycle, but I'm a vendor for Sims. Or you can value add it, spend a little bit of time, melt it into some sexy looking bars, and sell it to somebody who wants it for 1, ornamental purposes, 2, for prepping purposes, stacking it up, 3, as an investment. Bloke today told me he wanted it for an investment. I might argue with what people want. If there's a market, you will find it. What's the worst case scenario? I wasted some propane. I leave it in the corner for 2 years. That'll cover the cost of the propane as the price goes up. And I sell it as bars to the scrapyard. I've only got to bang them through the bandsaw or the muncher, or if I have to, I can cut a heap of them up with the recipro saw or the drop saw, so I can take them in there and show that there's nothing melted in them, so they understand that there's nothing dodgy going on. So a lot of people are under the impression that you can just melt some crap in the middle for no reason. It doesn't really work like that. It's not that easy. Like when this metal's at 1100 degrees that it melts at, you can't just go and poke something in there. See how there's peppered little BBs all over the floor? That's what happens when you poke something that shouldn't be in there. There's a bit of WD-40 on the end of one of my bits of pipe that had rubbed off the end of the copper cutters, and that's what caused it to exit the building rapidly out of the top last night. This thing was just a cheap little propane kit off eBay. If you want a link to one, hit me up. If you want a link to anything on eBay, hit me up. I am a eBay partner. Therefore, if I send you a link, it costs you not a cent more, but you can support my channel by buying something through me. I get a couple of % commission on your purchase. Same with Max Peating Rods, same with Banggood.com. These companies want to work with me to make content. I want to make more content. That'll cost money. It all takes time. If I don't make money and I don't have time, I don't make any content. You go and watch someone else. It's not the end of the world for you, but if it takes you 10 seconds to flick me a link to a product on eBay and I can flick it back, and it means that I can buy another Crucible and say thanks to you and have a quick yarn to you on one of the social media channels. Instagram's the preferred one. I like the Instagram DM setup, it's good. Facebook's a pain in the ass for business stuff. You just want to say good day, it is that easy to say good day on one of them channels. Still mixing both. You emptied the tub yet? Got some body work going on behind me, but I'm not going to show you that because he's filming that for his own YouTube channel. We'll deal with that another day. Yeah, it's not what we're looking at. But the broken diffs give you a bit of an indication on the other channel of what that is. Get some silver bars, I might have a chat with you. G'day Tyler, how are you? What gave you the love for metallurgy? Just the practical application of the metals. I just love the fact that you pull something apart that's like high end. Like I'm getting some of this server stuff from my contact with the school. And they did a bit of a server upgrade. Some of the stuff we got to pull apart was like next level. And I used to do a bit with the local scrapyard, looking at some of their stuff, because they just want to throw it in a pile and sell it. They don't really care about what stuff is so much. So I got some telecom waste out of the local scrapyard as well. That was cool. They had some gold boards in them. I just love the colour gold. I grew up in the gold fields in Victoria, and so gold and gold mining was like just a part of what we learnt. I've got my mum's cousin, I don't know what relation to me that makes it, is a full-time prospector and has been for many, many years. He's taken me out a few times over the years when I was younger. I got a couple of mates that are keen on it now. We did a little bit looking around in some of the rivers in Tasmania, but then discovered we weren't allowed to have a powered sluice equipment. And that kind of killed it a little bit for me, because like, I've got an excavator, I've got pumps, I can make sluice runs and shaker tables. Like, let us do it. And then I found out it only applies to you doing it on the side of the creek. So we're going to do concentrates on the side of the creek in summer. You'll see all that, it'll all be on YouTube. Here's one for you. I learnt this week. A CPU transistor is so small it takes your fingernail 3 seconds to grow the length of one. Do you hear that? The transistors inside the CPU, so the actual switching part, they're so small it only takes 3 seconds for your fingernail to grow to be as big as one. Your fingernail in 3 seconds grew as big as one of the chips on the CPU. I knew it with graphics cards because graphics cards have got like millions and millions and millions of cores. That's nuts. John. Tyler's doing some E-Way stuff too. I don't know if he's filming any of it or anything. Do you actually make content, Tyler? Get some silver bars. I'd love to get some silver bars. We need to get into when we get the gold off the table, off the shaker table. We will have a gold and silver mix, because the stuff that comes off the shaker table will be potentially lower grade gold, which is normally imported with silver. Should be sick. Righto, we'll give it a rev for a minute and then we'll get geared up to pour this thing. Sweet, that'd be cool if you make some content about it. I've been loving getting your photos and stuff of your setup. If I hadn't have found the hammer mill, I was going the same way with the mini hammer mill style garden shredder. Yeah, I think you'll do all right with that. It's a bit hard to tell in the light, but that is a copper aluminium bronze bar. It's actually a pink colour. Here's a brass bar. When I poured it, the zinc ended up at one side. There's a bunch more zinc in there than I thought there was. And maybe even some aluminium still in the crucible. That came out a cool looking bar. I can't wait to polish that one up. Get it shiny. The brass ones look awesome. The bottom of it came out real flat. Yeah, no, I reckon your blade setup will work fine. It's awesome when you poke the copper tube in there and there's just nothing left of the stuff you can see. It looks like there's copper hanging out, but it's just obliterated with heat. Alright, some gloves on to begin with. It's the worst thing about things that are flaming hot. The first thing you do when you drop something is you go to grab it. Put some thick gloves on, big welding gloves. The other thing, I've got full sleeves on, give you half a chance if ember gets you. At the moment I've got real long hair too, so I'm actually wearing a beanie. Just to give it a chance to be, flick a beanie off rather than burn your hair. Or light your hair on fire. Yeah, water sluice is the way. Build a channel out of a bit of gutter and put some ripples in it. Get this one here heated up. You see that? Yeah, you can see that. Get this one here heated up. Pour one of them first, and then see if we can't pour two of the little ones. It's almost ready to go. Yes, I do need some legit welder's PPE. Yes, I am in shorts. Going with the principle of, yes, if it hits me, it's not going to be good, it's going to fall off. I'm intentionally not wearing boots and loose shoes so I can actually kick them off if I need to. If you've got full-blown work boots on without spats on them, blob will go down the side of your boot and stay there. So yes, good welder's PPE will be the ticket. It's nearly all liquid in there. Won't be long, guys. I reckon 2 minutes. So we've got the mould on the thing, preheating, getting all the moisture out. And we've got the other two that we've had heating the whole time. Just a matter of not having any moisture in there. We go pop if you've got moisture in there. And that pop could spatter liquid in your face. Been there, not cool. Just be a sec, I'll be back. Alright, it's pouring time. Yes, purely LPG. Down the bottom here, it's just a jet that blows in. Yeah, club top. Good, the money shot. The money shot. Called totally different thing in some other industries. Let's hope this doesn't go everywhere, right? Yep, she's beautiful and liquidy. So if you just run the same material but cool around in there, you will actually get the dross to stick to the cool material. Let this cool down again, skim it around in there one more time, and you'll literally just have like an orange chrome kind of colour to it. It brings the dross up from the bottom, settles on the top, sticks to the stick. Look, that's how you get all the crap out of your bars. We don't need the camera without melting the screen. But none of that was on the end of there before we stuck it in. Look, it sticks. We got 12 people watching for the pour, 13 people watching for the pour. Share it with someone. We'll do more melty days. Righto. It's beautiful and liquid in there, guys. Let's get her out and pour some moulds. And then that drossy bit, we just throw that in the next pour. While this is hot, we do it again and again. So open him up. Straight to the land of Mordor. Fire. Can you see if they're in shot, mate?
Yeah, man.
See the moulds alright? Alrighty. Got to remember the top's crystallising at a pretty rapid rate. The reason it's doing that, it's got to expose to the cold air. Them pliers. Pliers on the feet,
No. What's from my
So when you tip it out, you'll dip the pot a little bit like so. I'll have to come back to your questions in a sec. When you dip it in the pot, you'll end up with a bit of it on the end of the thing. You just want to cool it down as you go. Should you zoom that? Can you zoom back up? Careful. How long will a 9 kilo bottle last? I don't know. I don't know how many BTUs or anything it uses. If you get a good one, they might tell you how many BTUs they use. This one's just cheap. We'll fire the furnace back up. Still plenty left in there. Still liquid in the bottom of that. Tip these bad boys out and get them in the water. There you go, that's what you've been waiting for. Glowing hot copper. Muffined a little bit across the top, but it looks good. Let's drop it in the water. You see the water? You can see the water. Buddy, that's a good little pour. This one here is a specimen. A little bit of dag on the top there, but have a look at him. Isn't that beautiful? A little bit of wrinkle on the top, which is nice. People like a hand poured bar. sides are nice, they don't have like crappy laminations in them too bad. Didn't muffin. That's a beautiful pour. That's how you know the copper's at a great temperature when you go and run it out of there. In the pot. Almost. Right, let's get some more product in there. And all the same again, hopefully. Look at the steam coming off that. And today on Recycling Channel, we cook noodles in copper water. You could. Quite far. Just spent a little bit less time talking, a little bit more time preparing, but there was a good bit of copper in the bottom there. We will rouse up a bit more and do one more pour before we call it a night on the streaming. So let's face it, you're here to see the beautiful copper. You're not here to listen to my ugly voice. You're here to see the copper, not listen to my ugly voice. I just want to see the pour. It's all about the bars. Imagine if a couple of years' time we're doing copper, gold bars the size of these copper ones. Be hiring a film crew to film it for us. Still steaming like a champion on the left there that you can see. Found another bundle. It is a bit quieter with the lid shut. Not sure how bad that conveys on video. Anybody got any questions? Nice blue-green flame. You can certainly do this at home. You want yourself some concrete that won't burn, decent size open area with no wind. Wind's important because the Venturi style burner jet's an issue. live stream. Righto, we're doing hammer live streams. Yeah, I won't be talking to you though. Yell at that camera as loud as I want. They won't hear me. I'm going to have to spend a bunch of time on the weekend cutting up copper tubes in crucibles. When we do that, we'll have a bunch of product to melt as well. Is it safe to do at home? If you've got nothing to burn, a bit of PPE, probably more than what I'm wearing. And I'm not 100% sure on breathing apparatus. I've got good ventilation. I've actually got a fan blowing through the PA door of the shed and out the other PA door. And we're also in a 10 metre by 45 metre shed. So we've got plenty of room and fume space. Lbg Safety Practices are probably important. We have fire extinguishers here. I've got a great deal of stuff, 2 blokes that'll burn. Not too big of a deal. Hot metal will burn the living shit out of you if you get it on yourself. It's literally 1100, 1200 degrees. 1200 by the time it's in that beautiful liquid state. But I'll be happy tonight if we can get another 1 medium bar and 2 small ones out. This ball. I might even just go a handful of small ones just so I can get another 10 done or 12 done or whatever I need for that old mate. I'll have to have a look in the safe and see what I've got there. Literally started to pile these up in my safe. Keen to see some hammer mill action videos. The shaker table will be a brilliant thing. Set the tripod up in front of the shaker table and just let it rip. Just watch the product shuffle its way across there. A few sunny weekends and we'll have that happening. There's the stuff that we scraped off the top. As you can see, it's predominantly copper. You can actually cut that off and throw it into the next melt. And a lot of the carbony stuff kind of burns off out of these. Kind of taking it easy on the furnace itself. The one that lasts a while. You can roast it a lot hotter. Its longevity is going to die off pretty hard. Cool it off a bit and let it all settle in there. And while we're doing that, I'll fetch the copper bars out of the water and we'll have a look at them. Probably another pretty safety orientated thing to say actually. If you're going to dip a bit of copper tube in there, and it's got an open end like this, crimp the end of it over before you dip it in there. The reason I say that is if you get a bubble or a hot spot or something, you don't want it having a tube to shoot you with. It'll shoot right up your sleeve, into your palm, however you hold your copper tube, and might have molten bits shoot up there. So reason I'm using a piece of long copper tube, it's like what, 2.5 feet long, is one, because it's a collector, so it actually collect the crap out. As you've seen, that's all crap that's not in the melt now. It's mainly carbon off that plastic, off that burnt wire. But you'll end up with your pour will be cleaner, and you can still just drop this in there, and a bit of the carbon will burn off each time, and you won't end up with a big blob. You're not actually wasting anything. Worst case scenario, this big carbon and copper blob on the end can go off to your better recycler as domestic or burnt copper. That's always an option too. Don't forget about the heat transfer. The heat will run up the copper pipe relatively quickly. You don't get a great deal of time to know that it's coming. Have it so that you've got somewhere to drop it or wear your gloves. Just throw it in the water on fire like that. It's always the most interesting option. There's a big copper bar, as you can see. Still steaming, quite delicious. We've done a good job here. There's a little bit of slag that's stuck to the top of it, so if we peel that off. That's a nice freshie. Try and get this bit of crap off. Got it. So the pop then. You gotta be careful putting something cold and something hot. Right, let's fish these little ones out. Feel so light, but they're actually like heavy for their density, so they're actually easy to drop. But there are those two. They come out nice as well. The ones that we sold to my customer that picked up his yesterday were similar to that, and that's what he wants a bunch more of. So let's pour 2 more of them and a big one. We'll pour our big one first and see what's left over for the 2 smaller ones. Probably seems harsh to be dropping them like that. It's not going to hurt them. They're soft. They don't really dent that bad. They are solid. Alright, we're ready for a pour. Pour time. Gloves are on. Get them gloves on. Fingers don't like copper. Burnt copper. Melting copper. Righto. See how sensitive the gas is. Alright. Quick little skim. Get the shit that we don't want out. See? That. There's a big one, there's the 2 small ones. lid on it. Just going to tip the last of that out. And there, put the crucible back in, let it cool down slow. Shut the lid. You don't want that to cool down too fast. That prolongs the life of them. One glove off. It's smoking like a dog. Whatever was in the bottom of that wasn't real nice. No. The mould over there had water in it. I didn't see it until it was pouring in there and it touched it. So that's why you get your moulds dry. Right, let's go make this water boil like crazy. Flip our little fella over. Here's a nice one. Come out good. Tiny little mushroom kind of top, muffin top kind of thing going on, but real neat. Little ripples on the top. It's like a neat loaf of bread. The water's going to boil like crazy because it's already hot. Just so rowdy. Another one. That's pretty much about as good as it gets. That'll be just sub 300 grams where it sits. It's another one that'll go straight to a customer. Tiny tidy up and it'll go. I'm going to buy another set of tongs. I'm going to buy a crucible holding pouring cup. It actually grabs hold of the sides of the crucible and allows you to pour them real easy. As you probably noticed, it's pretty janky doing it with these that come with it. But I got these set up Wednesday. I haven't had time to buy anything else since. It's fine if you grab the hold of the corner and drop it. Yeah, rowdy that's getting. And that's a very nice one as well. We've done well there. That one looks good, guys. In the water. Be mindful when you're holding onto those bits that the heat transference to your tongs is quite crazy. The crucibles are glowing. The bricks are glowing. The tongs would be glowing. Be mindful of how hot things are. We'll give it a minute. We'll let them cool off a bit. We'll get them out. I'll show you. And that'll be about it from us tonight. There's a little bit from the cast iron ingot. Not much there. But we'll go straight to the next melt, ready to go. Thing to remember with your copper that's been melted already, every time you do it, you're refining it. This is what happens when water can't evaporate off the energy fast. The water gets to the point where it's hot, it steams like a champion. That steam leaving the water is the only thing that's taking the energy away. Once it takes the energy away, it calms down and stops bubbling. Man, it's hot in there. Righto, look at these bad boys. They are not cool, you cannot touch them. They're hot. What do you think of that? Aside from all the steam and you can't see much. It's a nice looking bar. Another one down in the pile. Fish out another one. The biggest problem is you can't see through the water. There's a nice little neat one as well. Done well there. there's our last one. So we poured 4 small bars, 2 big bars tonight. All on the ground. Just there. There. Yeah, this is how we do it. Thank you very much for watching this melting stuff stream. It's been a bit of fun. It's good to chat to a few of you. And yeah, we'll do some more streams again. All the small ones will go straight to the customer with a small tidy up. We don't really have enough product there to get away with melting a couple more. That's about all the copper I've got left in here at the moment. I'll size some up, ready to go. I didn't expect this to get here as quick as it did, and we'll go from there. If you want a link to one of these on eBay or anything off eBay, sing out. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
That's good.